بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Interpretation of the Holy Quran.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. With the grace of Allah, we begin to have a concise interpretation of Quran. We reach to chapter Ale-Imran, the third chapter of Quran, which is revealed in Medina, and it has 200 verses. Please listen to verse 10.
إن الذين كفروا لن تغني عنهم أموالهم ولا أولادهم من الله شيئا وأولئك هم وقود النار.
As for those who disbelieve, surely neither their wealth nor their children shall avail them in the least against Allah. And these it is who are the fuel of the fire. In this verse, Allah is talking to about the disbelievers. Allah says, those who disbelieve and they don't look at the resurrection day, they don't believe in resurrection day. Only they want to have a good life in this world. They want to enjoy, and only they trust their money, their children, their property, their position, their facilities. Allah says these people should understand that their children are not going to help them. In the day that everybody is in need, their money and their children are not going to do anything for them. Today, maybe sometimes, yes, their children will help them. Their money and their position may help them sometimes. But in resurrection day, it is impossible. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ وَقُودُ النَّارِ. And in resurrection day, they are the fuel of fire and hell. As we understand from some verses of Quran, we know that there is a hell and punishment in resurrection day for those who intentionally disobey Allah. Intentionally, while they understand the truth, they disobeyed Allah and they denied Allah. There is a fuel, there is a fire and hell, but what is the fuel of that? We understand from several verses of Quran that the fuel of hell in resurrection day is people who disbelieve in Allah and disobey Allah. For example, here, وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ وَقُودُ النَّارِ. These people, it means disbelievers, are the fuel of fire. There is another verse of Quran also that it will tell us, فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا وَلَن تَفْعَلُوا. When Allah was challenging people to bring a chapter like Quran or even one verse of Quran, then Allah says, فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا وَلَن تَفْعَلُوا. But if you couldn't bring and you never ever will be able to bring, lan is for للنفي الأبد للتعبيد. It is for the meaning of never ever. Negative permanently. Allah says you were never able to bring a verse of Quran, a chapter like Quran. Then Allah says, if you are not able and you never be able to do that, فَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي. Try, then be on your guard against the fire. الَّتِي وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. The fire which men and stones are the fuel of it is. The fuel of fire in resurrection day are stones and nas, people. So we understood that the people themselves will be the fuel of fire in resurrection day. Allah says in this verse that disbelievers will not be helped by their children and their property. أَمْوَالَهُمْ وَلَا أَوْلَادَهُم. We know that in the ignorance, in the time of Jahiliyyah, before Islam especially, people were believing that children, and especially boys, will help a lot and they can get any help from their children. If they have money and they have boys, it means they have everything. Unfortunately, even today, there are some people who do not trust in Allah, do not believe in resurrection day, and only they want to have money and facilities. Allah says definitely they are not going to help you in resurrection day. Why? First of all, because if a person has the best money and very, very good children, if Allah doesn't want, they cannot do anything. If Allah wants something else, the children cannot help. Why? Because children's power, ability, knowledge, and their movement is by Allah. So comparing to Allah's wants, they cannot do anything. Second, sometimes the tools are going to they are not going to help, they are going to do the opposite. For example, children. Sometimes they are helping, sometimes they bother ourselves, and we cannot have a rest because of them sometimes. The money is the same. Sometimes money brings help, and sometimes because of the money we have problem in the society. Every person expects us to do something, and we cannot answer all of them. So sometimes the money, the children are affecting the opposite. And the third one, we can say that, okay, even if they help, they are helping, but they are temporary. Today they are helping. We don't know what is happening tomorrow, especially in resurrection day. They are not going to help us at all, because they can help temporary. They are going to die themselves. Their time will finish and they cannot do anything after death. There are a few messages that we can get from this verse. One, Allah is talking regarding to disbeliefs, but it is warning us, and we will understand that those people who only trust their children and their money are the same as the disbelievers. Allah will tell them, disbelievers, that your children are not going to help them because they are going to die themselves, because they are weak. And sometimes the children are doing the opposite. Their effects is opposite. Not they are not helping, they are bothering. For everybody is the same, not only disbelievers, even believers. They should be careful that they should trust Allah and nobody else. We should not be proud of our children and our money, that we have everything. Although we have money and children, but only we should trust Allah and be sure that without His wants, our children and our property position cannot do anything for us. لن تغني عنهم أموالهم ولا أولادهم من الله شيئا. Surely neither their wealth nor their children shall avail them in the least against at all. It means at all with Allah. And also we understood when Allah says وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ وَقُودُ النَّارِ. These it is who are the fuel of the fire, the people, human beings who are Allah's successor. If they do not believe in Allah, if we not believe in Allah, our value will be decreased to the level that we will be the same as items. Items are the fuel for the fire. And Allah says sometimes human beings will be fuel for the fire. We will be like items, like Allah says, like animals or even worse than animals. أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ. Like animals, like cow, camel, horse, or even worse than that. Please listen to verse 11.
كدأب آل فرعون والذين من قبلهم كذبوا بآياتنا فأخذهم الله بذنوبهم والله شديد العقاب.
Like the striving of the people of Pharaoh and those before them, they rejected our communications, so Allah destroyed them on account of their faults. And Allah is severe in requiting. After talking regarding to disbelievers, that Allah says disbelievers should know that their children and their money are not going to help them, and they are the fuel of the fire, Allah brought one example. Allah says, كَدَأْبَ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ. It is the same as a custom for the nation of Pharaoh or followers of Pharaoh. They were such a people. They were trusting only their children and their money. Allah says, even before them, before these nations, there were other group of people, only they were trusting their money and their children, their facilities. كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا. They denied our communications, and after that, while they had the children, they had property, but فَأَخَذَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِذُنُوبِهِمْ. Allah punished them because of their sin. Allah took His blessings. Wallahu shadidul iqab, and Allah is severe in requiting. كَدَأْبَ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ. Da'ab, it means a custom. When we want to do something to have a good attributes or bad attributes by one time, two times, it is that we repeat again and again, it becomes our da'ab, our custom. Where we insist to do something, then we get used to it. Allah says it is like a custom for the nation of Pharaoh, followers of Pharaoh, because they repeated again and again. They are trusting their money and their children again and again until they denied Allah, and Allah punished them. And for these people, definitely they should know that unless they will be changed, otherwise Allah is going to punish those who disobey Allah in their life and deny Allah completely. From this verse we understood when Allah mentions the follower of Pharaoh, all it means follower or nation. كَدَأْبَ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ is the same as the deed or the custom of Al Pharaoh. Allah will tell us, look at them and see the history, think about the history. What happens to those people who were very strong? They had children, they had money. What happened? فَأَخَذَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِذُنُوبِهِمْ. Allah punished them because of their sins. Whoever follow them and act as they act, of course Allah is going to punish. So Allah encourages us to look at the history and see what happened. From the history we should learn, and it is advised by Quran to learn something that will help us to check ourselves and be careful about resurrection. We become careful about the resurrection day. The followers of the Pharaoh and his followers, they were so strong, and they reached to the level, Pharaoh reached to the level that he said, أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى, I am your Lord, and worship me. And Allah says, look how Allah punished him and took his life. فَأَخَذَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِذُنُوبِهِمْ. Allah destroyed them on account of their faults. We understand that if Allah will punish us, it is because of our sin, by something that we have chosen. If we by mistake we make a mistake and we do something wrong, even if we don't believe in God because we didn't understand, nobody told us, Allah is not going to punish. Allah will punish those people who knows the truth, who understand the truth, and they disobey Allah. For such a people, Allah says, Wallahu shadidul iqab, and Allah is severe in requiting and chastisement. We request Allah to help us to believe on Him and to practice the religion. And be careful about the resurrection day, the day that nothing is going to help us unless our deeds. Thank you very much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.